This is Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Waves Weekly, series I post every Saturday where we cover some fun pieces of recent news and current events that I believe will impact the markets. These episodes are meant to be more chill. These are honestly my favorite episodes to record, so sit back, grab a nice drink. Right now, I'm personally drinking Rain Lilikoi Lychee flavor. I don't usually drink things this artificial, at least on a day-to-day basis, but Lilikoi Lychee, love both of those flavors, had to give it a shot, and I'll be honest, this thing is freaking delicious. So, not a sponsor. I'd be down if anyone happens to be watching from Rain to sponsor me, but that is unlikely. That said, this is still delicious, so check it out. But a cheers to that, you guys. Let's get into it. All right, so as always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, and we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, trading view, but we're not going to look at any charts today. Again, you guys, these episodes are just news focused, so we do have some exciting pieces of news to get into. Just have trading view here because that's how I have to open every video. IPO. Stock IPOs. Tech investors await IPO bonanza next week, highlighted by Snowflake and Unity, even as market looks shaky. All right, so a lot of IPOs coming next week. This is going to be very interesting considering if you guys have tuned in, you would know that I am pretty sketched out on the equity markets right now. So it will be interesting to see how these play out, if these do good for the markets or if these come out while the equity markets are doing poorly and absolutely tank on their IPO. So that said, I will get more into the IPOs, like specifically tomorrow in the stock watch, but right now, I'll just kind of put these on your radar for now. Moving on. So, does Robinhood make it too easy to trade? This is not, we're not going to cover this at all, but this is funny because I was featured in this podcast. It was just put to my attention by one of the commenters. Thank you to whoever you are if you're watching this right now. But someone in the comments let me know that my most popular video by far, the 30,000 in a week, honestly, probably one of the least proud I am of videos just because I was so excited to make it. I didn't really think about it all. I had the idea, sat down and recorded it. So, I mean, that's exactly what that video looks like how I made $30,000 on a week in Robinhood. It has like 140,000 views or something like that. But they featured a little soundbite from me in this, which is super funny. So you guys go check out the Journal. It's a Wall Street Journal podcast. So kind of a big deal. They kind of roast me a little bit talking about bragging about how I made $30,000, which, I mean, kind of not necessarily bragging, obviously indirectly bragging. There's no way you can say that without bragging to some extent. But honestly, I did want that to be informative. That's why I dropped the one later, because I was kind of ashamed, to be honest, of how uninformative that video, at least how unarticulate I was in that video. That's why I made the other one that I'm way more proud of and I put a lot of thought into. Anyway, check this out if you guys want to. It's kind of some content of the week here. But yeah, that said, we're not really going to look into that at all. Maybe I'll play the little clip. But moving on, Peloton crushes estimates as sales surge 172%. Expect strong demand to continue into 2021. So if you guys are OGs, if you've been around for a long time, you'd know that I have shorted Peloton in the past. Initially, when we got into this pandemic, into the lockdown and whatnot, Peloton popped off because it's an obvious Corona economy stock. Everyone's at home. They sell bikes. No one's going to the gym anymore. Everyone has to work out at home. You have to exercise at home if you want to exercise at all, especially beyond like in a stationary bike like what Peloton sells. All right, so Peloton in the past, I have shorted them. I haven't shorted them in a long time. I do still personally think they're overvalued, but I mean, they absolutely crushed earnings. Any short sellers got absolutely crushed out of this, at least after earnings. So, I mean, congrats to Peloton, and I think it's a great company. So we'll cover this a little bit. That will probably also be in my stocks to watch next week as well. Then we'll move on to TikTok pushing forward with a deal to meet looming deadline. So you guys know, gotta follow this TikTok story at least a little bit. My lady is on TikTok. I made her make a YouTube channel just in case TikTok. I really hope they reach a deal. There's many ethical reasons I believe that TikTok should not be banned in the US. I've said it in a few episodes of Waves Weekly now. I don't want to get too deep into that one again, but I think that TikTok should not be banned. I'll just say that right up front. Obviously, I am biased because once again, my lady is pretty big on TikTok. She has an art page there, but I have forced her to make a YouTube channel to diversify the platforms a little bit, just in the case that it does get banned, which would be super sad, because she's put so much time into it and built such a following on it. But again, you guys, please go check out her YouTube channel. I will link it down below. I'll show you guys a piece of art. I showed you guys this. Let me grab a new piece of art, because all her art, we do share a studio, so I'll show you guys a piece of art here quick. What's a fun one? This is a good one. I mean, these are two examples. She specializes in rainbow art. So these are just two pieces. She does a lot of other things that are not canvas work as well. And again, I made her make a YouTube just because she needs to freaking diversify platforms. So again, I will link it down below. I'd really appreciate it if you checked it out. She would as well. Even if it's not you, if you're not interested in art at all, if you know someone you love is, just please tell them to check it out. But we will talk about this. Again, this does, some of these stories, you guys, it may not seem like these relate to the markets, like this one, TikTok. But when we're talking Microsoft, Oracle, who just killed earnings. So Oracle just killed their earnings. They did very well. After their earnings, they're finally profitable again. Oracle is now in the running again. Microsoft and Walmart, two obviously titans of the industry. I've said many times that Walmart is arguably one of the most undervalued companies on the public markets right now. So this is how it translates into the markets. Don't worry, you guys. I will tie some of this into the markets. All right. Then, again, Microsoft announces pricing and release date for new Xbox consoles. Dude, these things are freaking sick. I've been a gamer for my entire life. For those of you who don't know, I'm 25 years old. I grew up on Halo 3, for all of you OGs out there. And I still play to this day. I still own an Xbox. I still game almost every day in my free time. But I mean, Xbox just announced these new consoles. These things are so sick. And we'll cover this. And again, you guys, tie it into the markets. AMD is supplying all the next-gen consoles, even not only Xbox, but PlayStation as well. So AMD, we'll keep an eye on that in the future. But I want to talk to you guys about these consoles and just kind of geek out over them a little bit. Moving on, kind of really flipping the script there. So NFL, shrouded in uncertainty, returns. I don't know if you guys caught the Chiefs-Texans games. Chiefs absolutely routed the Texans in what was to be the most expected rout probably of all time. It was so weird seeing the stadiums filled with probably 20% of the people. I know that you obviously have to keep the 6-foot distance, but if you guys haven't checked that out, another little piece of content as well, go watch at least the highlights from that game. That's the beautiful thing, just YouTube. I mean, Chiefs-Texans highlights, if you want to watch. That's what I did as well after watching the game. 11-minute clip, you get to see the stadium as well. It's weird. But again, we will cover this a little bit. This targets companies on the exchange, like on the public markets, like DraftKings, like Penn National, people who are involved in online gambling, sports betting and stuff. So just keep that in mind, you guys. There are always ways to tie these fundamental, just even what doesn't seem like they could impact the markets, will impact certain stocks in the market. So DraftKings is probably saw a huge spike in volume, huge spike in betting volume and revenue over this. And again, you guys, I've talked about DraftKings many times in the past. I do still hold a DraftKings position. I like that stock very much, and I think they have a very bright future. But that's just how you have to think, you guys. These are fun pieces of news, at least in my opinion, that relate to me. I'm obviously, if I wasn't interested in these, I wouldn't be sharing them with you guys. So I'm sorry if you're not interested in some of these, but yeah, I'll just give you my thoughts on them anyway. Okay, so that said, that's some content. You guys go check out those highlights if you haven't. But my actual piece of content, which I'll share with you guys right now, I think I'm going to start doing this because I don't talk about the books I read a lot, just because obviously I'm I analyze the markets. That's what my channel focuses around. But I read a lot of books. I've always been a big book reader, and I just finished this book, The $1 Billion Whale. I'll just read some of the subtitles on this on the face, just because that's perfectly explains it in the author's words. So, $1 Billion Whale, the man who fooled Wall Street, Hollywood, and the world. The inside story of Joe Low and the 1MDB scandal. So pretty much, you guys look up Joe Low, JHOLOW. This guy is a chubby, big Asian Malaysian dude who pretty much went to Wharton Business School, made some friends there, got business savvy, went back to his home state of Malaysia, home country of Malaysia, and pretty much fooled the prime minister and the entire government out of billions of dollars, scammed them out of billions of dollars, made this fake trust, made a fake investment trust, and used the money that he said he was putting into that investment trust to party around the world. He parties with Paris Hilton, parties with Alicia Keys, everyone. Spends billions of dollars on crazy penthouses, apartment complexes, everything, yachts, parties. He funded the Wolf of Wall Street movie. If you guys have seen that, one of my, for obvious reasons, one of my favorite movies of all time. Love Leo, love the premise of that movie. Love the lifestyle. Obviously, it's a very attractive lifestyle. But, this is a super interesting book, you guys. I will link it down in the description. I always link a lot of books. This one isn't in there, but this will be the first book link down in the description. All of those are affiliate links. I get 3, 4, 5% or something if you use it. Use it or not, you can just go search it on your own terms and buy it on your own terms. But I highly recommend you read this book and check it out. All right. So that's the content of the week. As always, you guys, before we really get into it, I know we already covered a lot pretty much, but I will ask that you guys give this video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or just if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Please help me get to 20K. And check out my complete portfolio and daily newsletter. I did mention some of the positions while we were going over all of this. If you want to know exactly how I'm trading this current market environment right now, and want a newsletter every day during trading hours, or every trading day during market hours, just giving you guys my up-to-date real-time thoughts on the markets as well as the real-time trades I'm making that day. All right, first link in the description if you're interested in that. If not, no worries at all. Let's get into this. Okay, so once again, IPO bonanza next week. Companies across enterprise software, gaming, and health tech are set to go public next week in one of the business stretches for IPOs this year. Busiest stretches, sorry. The stock market has shown surprising strength this year during the coronavirus pandemic, but it's poised to wrap up its worst 2-week stretch since March. These offerings will succeed or fail based on fundamentals and their business prospects, said Liz Beyer, founder of IPO advisory firm Class V Group. All right, so once again, you guys, I just kind of want to put this on your radar. I'll probably won't touch on this exact article again. There is a Snowflake article that I want to share with you guys in tomorrow's Sunday Stock Watch. But Snowflake, I mean, Buffett, some huge names are looking for Snowflake. But again, this will be interesting to see how it plays out if equities, if the greater tech sector, if tech sector as a whole, which is like really sums up equity. When I say equities, I'm focusing more so on the tech sector as opposed to many other sectors, just because they've seen such a run up. But it will be interesting to see that if they correct, how will that impact these IPOs? So just keep an eye out for that. Again, we'll dive into this more tomorrow. Again, this, you guys, maybe I will. I think it's 6 minutes in. I'll try to play you guys a little bit. I don't even know if you guys can hear. I know it's like 6 minutes in. Might be like right here. And crank up the volume a little bit for you guys. See if if it even freaking loads.
In May, buying the dip turned out to be a good bet. People even went
I think you guys can hear this.
Brag about their gains.
Listen to this.
I made $2,000
after this guy.
Just buying stocks that are undervalued.
This is funny.
In this brief video, I just wanted to talk to you guys about how I was able to grow my Robinhood account by about $30,000 in just about a week. It's like
I even say the way I'm speaking is so much more like robotic too. That was early on into. That was probably one of the first videos not first videos, but very early into my YouTube. I only started this earlier this year, in like March of this year. So I'm still young, you guys. Sorry if I stumble over my words and rant too long and say things that I shouldn't say, or say things that are unnecessary to say, kind of like repeat myself. I'm very subconscious about repeating myself. That's why I always say like, and again, or like always, as I always say, and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just funny that I was featured on this Wall Street Journal podcast. So go give this a listen. Drop a comment, say Roy sent ya. Okay, so Peloton crushes estimates of sales surge 172%, expects strong demand to continue into 2021. Peloton's fiscal fourth quarter sales surge 172%. With such strong demand for its bikes and treadmill, it doesn't expect to return to normalized order to delivery windows in the U.S. before the end of the fiscal second quarter. Peloton's outlooks for the first quarter of fiscal 2021 sales also far exceeded analyst expectations. So again, you guys, Peloton, you can see up 14% on the day whenever they covered this. When was this? September 10th. So it was just earlier this week. It was probably the most recent big earnings we've seen. Crushed estimates. This is good for them. But I will say right now, you guys, this is a very good reopening short play. So once we kind of establish a vaccine, and again, you guys, this Peloton is a great product. So I would even be cautious shorting Peloton just because I do believe it's a great product. But I think they're trading at some ridiculous valuation. But what's not these days, you know? That said, I won't rant on this anymore. But maybe just keep your eyes peeled if I do. If maybe I talk more about Peloton in the future as we get into reopening, because it might be a decent short play. But again, I mean, trends are changing forever. I think some people will never want to go back to gyms. So maybe gyms. I'll tie that in here a little bit. I am bearish on gyms. Like so much real estate, so much commercial real estate with zero revenue. I'm bearish on gyms right now. So I'll talk about that more in the future. Anyway, TikTok. Again, TikTok pushing forward with the DOE looming deadline. Company intends to present proposal to White House by September 20th. China's foreign ministry says U.S. order is suppression. TikTok is pressing forward with the plan for sale of its U.S. operations ahead of a mid-September deadline. So September 15th is the deadline. The app, owned by China's ByteDance, is still considering bids from two possible buyers: Oracle, Microsoft, and then so it's Oracle versus Microsoft and Walmart. I think Microsoft and Walmart is such a sick team, such a perfect team. Because Microsoft obviously has a tech savvy side. Microsoft also owns LinkedIn, so they do have a branch of their business that focuses on social. And I think TikTok would be such a good addition to Microsoft, one of the largest companies, most legacy like tech companies in the world, just probably the most legacy tech company in the world, with Walmart, because I think they're trying to integrate shopping into TikTok, which would be amazing if they can successfully integrate kind of shopping into Walmart. And again, you guys, Walmart, they just launched Walmart. Damn it, is it Walmart Plus? Sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but Walmart Plus, pretty much a direct competitor to Amazon Prime. You guys, if there's one company in this world right now that can dethrone, they're not going to dethrone, but give Amazon some decent competition, it's Walmart. And again, still to this day, Walmart does more revenue than any other company in the world. That's important to not more profit, but more revenue. So they have more cash flowing through them than any other company in the entire world, which is crazy. Okay, so keep that in mind. You guys keep an eye. I think Walmart is just poised to explode if this deal goes through. So I'm not trading it personally. I will say that right off the bat. I don't usually trade large caps like that, but just keep an eye on it, you guys. So that's exciting. I will keep you guys posted with that. And again, I really just hope that TikTok. Trust me, you guys. I've heard all the arguments. Whatever, the CCP. You don't want the CCP to have your data, to have the data of millions of Americans. We're in a Cold War with China. I get it. I just haven't heard a valid argument for specifically why that's bad. I understand all those points, but specifically what China could do with that data, I haven't heard a single argument for that. Okay. So moving on, again, Xbox, that's a Series X and Series S consoles. These things are sick. So not much to say here. So pre-orders start September 22nd for all of my fellow gamers. I don't know how many of you are out there, but you guys, this thing is look at this thing. This thing's so freaking powerful. I mean, the cool thing is this one's $500. Trust me, I've done my research, and this one's $300. They both have pretty much the same processing power. So when you're playing a game, you can play it pretty much with the same like the processing speed is the same, okay? And again, they're both running on AMD processors, AMD microchips, but the graphics, the resolutions are different. So, I mean, if you want to play in 4K, you get this one, and I might honestly get this one just because it looks so sick. It's so like unique, and there's never been a console like this. But this one you can play just as well if you play on a TV. This is definitely the call. And again, it's way cheaper, so $300. Still has crazy processing power, but again, I think this one plays at about 1440 as opposed to 4K like the other one. Either way, I'm copying one of these as soon as they do the pre-orders. I mean, I'm super pumped on this. And again, you guys, to tie it back into the markets, just because I don't want to bore you guys with this if you're not interested, because I know a lot of you probably aren't interested. But AMD is supplying all the microchips, and AMD is already popping off. So that's what makes me a little hesitant. If AMD pulls back prior to these pre-orders, so pre-orders start on September 22nd. If AMD sees a significant pullback prior to them, which I do think it will, just because it's seen such a run up and it's so heavily tied to the S&P, to the equity indices, I will definitely consider establishing an AMD long position, because they're supplying all the chips for the Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, the new PlayStations, and Xbox versus PlayStation. Sorry if you're one of the PlayStation. Sorry if you're on the wrong side. I actually started in PlayStations, but I've evolved over to Xbox over the years. So no ill will towards the PlayStations. But either way, AMD will benefit from these Xbox sales. And again, everyone's at home, everyone's gaming. Esports gaming is bigger than it's ever been, and it will only continue trending that way. Again, you guys, remember, this pandemic, this lockdown, this crazy economic environment that we're in right now has just expedited everything that was already going to happen. It's just expedited trends. So esports and gaming was a trend that was already going to do extremely well, say over a 10-year time frame, but that just cut it at least in half, okay? So very bullish on Microsoft for selling these, for AMD, for providing Microsoft with the processors that they use in the Xbox. Keep an eye out, you guys. Keep an eye out. Again, Microsoft dropping the Xbox soon, potentially acquiring TikTok. Huge cap. Again, I'm not playing it, but if you're looking for a value stock, I think Microsoft is an amazing company. So moving on to the last piece, NFL shrouded uncertainty returns. It's still a money-making machine, so we will cover some of the financials here. If the NFL were a tech company, reports of a stable year-over-year revenue would send shares tumbling. In 2020, the entertainment biz, that's a huge win. I read that wrong, sorry. Sportico reports ad spend is effectively in lockstep with last season's pace. That's insane, but digital advertising makes sense that is staying on par, showing that not even a pandemic can slow marketers' appetite for NFL's massive audience. Also helping the league's most prolific spenders last year, Amazon, Verizon, Procter & Gamble, GM, Apple, Progressive, State Farm, and others weathered the pandemic better than most. So, I mean, if you want the equity indices in a freaking bucket right here, that's pretty much them. And it makes sense, again, you guys. NFL. The NBA didn't do too well. I'm not super familiar with the subject. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I just didn't hear much about the NBA. I know they had the bubble. It just didn't play out as people would have hoped. I'm not saying it didn't do well, but it definitely didn't meet the expectations that I think a lot of people were hoping for. NFL, everyone needs football right now. Like football, if they cut football, that's when riots happen. That's when it's all out like civil unrest, even more so than it kind of is now among certain groups. People need football. Everyone loves football. I mean, obviously I've played football. I play little pickup games and stuff. I never played actual football. I was a soccer player myself. But, I mean, I love football. I love watching football. I love, more than anything else, the act of watching football with my family, friends, drinking some beers. I mean, just eating good food. It's just a good, like, bonding experience with your family and friends. Everyone needs that right now, especially right now. And football is super important. Obviously, when there's football, gambling, as we've seen with all these new Robinhood day traders, gambling is on the rise as a trend as well. Everyone wants to gamble. Everyone wants to have their money, make them money, easy money. And, I mean, it's just, this is speaking to DraftKings. I mean, this is really, I think DraftKings next quarterly earnings. I don't know when exactly that is. I will definitely touch on that when it's coming. I'll look that up right after this. But, I mean, I think DraftKings could have an extremely good quarter and see a crazy amount of revenue off of this new football season. So, again, you guys, I'll do my best to wrap these into practical ways that you can apply these to maybe your investment portfolio, whatever. But again, you guys, just wanted to make these fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Drop a comment down below. Please let me know what you thought about these stories. If you're excited about football, if you're excited about the Xbox, please let me know that I'm not the only one and I didn't just completely bore you guys to death. So again, always love talking to you guys. Always love learning. I don't know how much I'm going to learn from you guys in this one just because it's a pretty fun one. But please drop some knowledge down there if you have something to tell me, if I was wrong about anything. Again, always love talking to you guys. So look forward to catching you downstairs. And until next time, you guys, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.